Law firms are rushing to adopt AI for efficiency, but they're overlooking a critical danger. Using a public AI could instantly waive attorney-client privilege by making the vendor an unauthorized third party. This isn't a theory. A New York federal court has already ruled that work done with consumer AI isn't protected. The problem is where your most sensitive data goes and who has access to it. We'll break down the hidden costs, the compliance nightmares, and show how a new model for AI deployment solves this. First, let's talk about the cost of getting it wrong. The average data breach for a law firm now costs over $5 million. Beyond breach costs, regulatory fines are severe. The EUAI Act can impose penalties up to 7% of your firm's global annual turnover. But the biggest cost might be trust. A significant number of clients would leave a firm after a breach involving AI. Many of these risks stem from one growing problem: shadow AI. These are tools used by staff without approval, which dramatically increases breach costs. This isn't an isolated issue. Nearly 2/3 of organizations have no governance policies for managing AI, leaving a massive security gap. So the risks are enormous. But how exactly does a simple AI tool break something as sacred as attorney-client privilege? The answer lies in the fundamental architecture of public cloud AI. When you input data, where does it really go? First, many public AI systems retain your inputs to train their models. This means your privileged information could be stored indefinitely by the vendor. This vendor access triggers a core ethical duty. Attorneys must get informed consent from clients before using third-party AI that exposes their data. So the moment your firm's data hits that external server, the AI provider becomes a third party. Without consent, that action can waive privilege. This fundamental conflict between legal ethics and cloud AI architecture demands a different approach. What if the AI never left your control? This is the core promise of on-premise AI. It keeps all data, processing, and work product entirely inside your firm's own network and firewalls. This solves major legal headaches like chain of custody questions during discovery because the data never resided in a vendor's cloud. This control is also vital for global firms. On-premise solutions directly address data residency laws like GDPR that mandate where data stays. For the most sensitive matters like government investigations, on-premise offers options public clouds can't, including fully air-gapped systems. Total control and security are clear benefits. But what about the cost? Isn't this incredibly expensive? It's true that on-premise I can have a significant initial investment, but the total cost of ownership tells a very different story. Cloud AI seems cheaper with its pay-as-you-go model, but could owning your AI infrastructure actually be dramatically more cost-effective? The data is surprising. For sustained, high-volume AI workloads, on-premise can be up to 12 times cheaper than per-lawyer SaaS models. The reason is predictable costs. You avoid the volatile, usage-based fees of cloud services that spiral as your AI adoption grows. So yes, for firms committed to integrating AI, on-premise isn't a cost center. It's a more sustainable and predictable long-term financial strategy. We've seen the risks, the mechanics, and the business case. How does this all come together as a strategy? Recall the shadow AI and governance gap? Implementing on-premise AI forces a firm to treat it as a core operational challenge, not just a tech toy. Remember that New York court ruling? The only way to argue your AI-assisted work is protected is to prove it never left your firm's control. When you combine total data control, predictable long-term costs, and a foundation for strong governance, on-premise AI becomes a competitive advantage. This shift in strategy is why managed on-premise deployment services are so significant. The arrival of services to manage on-premise AI for law firms isn't just another product launch. It is a critical turning point away from public AI. Continuing to rely on public cloud AI for sensitive work is a gamble with your client's data, your firm's reputation, and your ethical duties. On-premise AI provides the only framework that guarantees data sovereignty, ensures privilege, and creates a sustainable financial model for innovation. For law firms serious about using AI securely, the conversation must shift from which cloud tool to what is our on-premise strategy.